Hi beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are doing fantastic wherever you are in the world. Happy Monday. Hope you guys had a wonderful Easter weekend. For those that do not celebrate Easter, I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend too. Personally, my weekend was so good. A lot of emotions, but it was absolutely fantastic. On Friday, my daughter had her prom, and she is the first of my kids who have gone to their prom, because when my eldest son was in school, he wasn't really interested in going to his prom, and he didn't end up going. And as for my eldest daughter, she was shortchanged because her final year of high school was affected by COVID. Until this day, she has ill feelings about that. When we were shopping for my daughter's dress, it was so exciting because, like I said, my older kids didn't go to their prom. So I didn't experience what that feeling would be like. This was my first go around basically. But I did get emotional and lost it when she was getting ready and when I was helping her do her final touch-ups. I was a wreck. She was sitting by her vanity and tears were rolling down my face, and a tear got on her dress and she was like, "Mom, please get yourself together." And I started crying and sobbing. And I told her to just let me have my moment too. The emotions I was going through was happiness and sadness at the same time. It felt like at that point she is all grown up now. I was also happy for her that she is getting to experience this night that she has spoken about for so long. She looked so forward to this night for so long, and also proud. She'll be moving on to a new chapter in her life in a few months, and that she will finally be pursuing something that she has spoken about wanting to be since she was in the 3rd grade, and that is to be a lawyer. And her time has come to pursue that career. Like I said, I was just a wreck. I was thinking that she is no longer going to need me, and especially the fact that she will be moving away to college in a few months. I don't even want to think about what her graduation day is going to be like. She was home by midnight. We sat up until I think 3 o'clock in the morning. She was showing me photos of everybody, which all her friends looked absolutely beautiful. She said she had a wonderful time. It was everything that she expected, and she had a fantastic time. I am so happy for her. Let's get into today's video, but before that, my usual disclaimer. Please do not take what I say as fact. Feel free to do your own research and come to your own conclusions. Before I move on, a huge thank you to Balls 2.0 on Instagram for the screenshots used in this video. When Without a Crystal Ball, aka Katie Joy, finally came out with the news after the fact, after other YouTubers and TikTokers actually broke the story about Gypsy Rose separating from her husband Ryan Anderson, she made this post. Gypsy Rose Blanchard and Ryan Anderson split. Gypsy Rose Blanchard has separated from her husband Ryan Anderson 3 months after her release from prison. People magazine broke the story earlier today by sharing a statement that Gypsy shared on her private Facebook. And this is the statement that Gypsy put on a private Facebook. People have been asking what is going on in my life. Unfortunately, my husband and I are going through a separation, and I moved in with my parents' home down by the bayou. I have the support of my family and friends to help guide me through this. I am learning to listen to my heart. Right now, I need time to let myself find who I am, she wrote in a statement obtained by people from her private Facebook account. Without a Crystal Ball has been aware of the split for several days. The news comes as the couple had been filming a reality series about her life after prison. Gypsy has a very good support system around her, and she is safe, in all upper caps, which is what matters the most. Gypsy and Ryan married while she was in prison. Their relationship was not without struggle before her release. They detailed their issues in a series on Lifetime in December 2023. Gypsy has never lived on her own, lived with a man, or had any independence in her life. She will recover from this split with the help of her family and friends. She then also makes a post on her Instagram, and as you can see from this screenshot, it says, "Without a Crystal Ball, exclusive. Gypsy Rose Blanchard splits from husband Ryan months after release. Inside, what went wrong?" And also look at this pinned comment. Hey friends, out of respect for Gypsy and her family, I will refrain from sharing the very troubling details I have learned in the past weeks about their marriage. Ryan was and has never been in danger with Gypsy. She is an extremely petite and naive woman. He is more than a foot taller than her and hundreds of pounds heavier than her. Gypsy left because she needed to be safe. Gypsy will not drag him, and I wouldn't drag him either. But for those thinking she's the one in the wrong here, you couldn't be more wrong. I know because I know this family. Katie. Now, in my opinion, this is how Without a Crystal Ball manipulates her audience or manipulates people to follow her by giving them a false perception of reality. Without a Crystal Ball cannot handle it when she is not the first to break a story, and in this case, I believe that is the case. Since I heard about the separation of Gypsy and her husband, and I first heard it on TikTok, and then I think other YouTubers started reporting about it, she had to find a way to excuse herself from not being the first to share this news because she claims that she is so close to this family. So this is the route she took. In the first post, she said that she was aware of the split for several days. Bullshit. But she didn't say anything about the separation. I wonder why. Then she made the post on her Instagram. And let's look back on this pinned comment where she says, and I quote, "Out of respect for Gypsy and her family, I will refrain from sharing details I have learned in the past few weeks about the marriage." End quote. I call bullshit once again. I do not for 1 minute believe she knows what is going on with Gypsy at all, for two reasons. First, in the video she made, she said she hasn't spoken directly with Gypsy, not even the stepmother, who she claims, as I said, to be so close with. She said she spoke to other people in the circle and around the family.
So, to give you sort of context of what I know about the situation, and I'm not going to share a whole lot because I certainly don't want to violate the trust that I have because I do speak to this family. I haven't spoken to Gypsy specifically about the split. I have spoken to other people in the circle and around the family about what's been going on.
And also, the reason I do not believe Without a Crystal Ball has all this information is because when Gypsy was released and she was promoting her ebook, Without a Crystal Ball bragged about how she was given an advance copy and she leaked information on a post she made and she had to take that post down. And in my opinion, she is treated the same way any other person that wants information or wants a comment is given the same treatment. Without a Crystal Ball is no different or not that special. This is my theory. When Without a Crystal Ball got wind that Gypsy made a post on her private Facebook announcing her separation from her husband, Without a Crystal Ball must have been angry with herself because she didn't catch that first and reported on it first. So the only way to uplift herself and validate that she is such good friends with the stepmother or being such good friends with this family was to try to get some info that no one else has, and that is where that comment comes into play, in my opinion, where she states, out of the respect of her family, she will be refraining from sharing details that she has learned about in the past few weeks about Gypsy's marriage. She must have been flooding the DMs of Gypsy's spokesperson or her BFF Christy, and unfortunately nothing fruitful came of it, so she concocted up her own bullshit. As Without a Crystal Ball stated, out of the respect for Gypsy and her family, she will refrain from sharing the very troubling details. So why did she feel the need to actually make a video about this? And the title of her video was Exclusive Details About What Went Wrong. Was there any exclusive details? Absolutely not. Her entire video was her giving excuses, in my opinion, for Gypsy Rose. You could even hear her smirking, if that makes sense, when she mentions, and she kept emphasizing how this post that Gypsy made was taken from her private account. And my question is, will Gypsy ever have private status?
Gypsy Rose Blanchard updated her friends and her family on her private Facebook about some struggles she was having in her life, and then last night posted that she and her husband Ryan were separated. This private post on her private Facebook was discovered by People magazine, and they detailed in an article that Gypsy Rose Blanchard and Ryan Anderson have split.
These are just a few clips of Katie Joy giving excuses, in my opinion, for Gypsy Rose being in the situation she chose to be in today.
Gypsy had such limited life experience. In the last several months, Gypsy has gone through sort of a whirlwind where she at one point had this huge public platform, and then a couple weeks ago, at the advisement of her probation officer, she deleted all of her public-facing Instagram and TikTok, and that was at their advisement due to the number of reports that they were getting about her that were proven over investigations to be not violations of her parole.
So if it wasn't violations of her parole and these huge platforms that was bringing in so much money for her, that was obviously helping her live her life, why did she get rid of them then? Makes no sense.
But we're basically creating kind of a headache for their division.
So Katie, what I'm taking away from what you're saying is that Gypsy got rid of a social media with millions of followers that obviously she got paid from, that actually contributed to her livelihood. So out of the goodness of her heart, she actually got rid of those platforms. So the parole division that she is responsible to report to, that they have peace and are not being bombarded with nuisance calls. Just doesn't add up.
So she made a decision to go private. She deleted all of her social media content and apologized for not being as accountable as she should be in any of her posts, any of her interviews. She said she was sorry to everyone. She made clear that, she understood what her crimes were. So since she has been private, she has just been doing her own thing. I think she is learning through therapy, and she's learning just in her own, as she's been growing and understanding the real world, what is good for her and what's not good for her, and what she needs and what she doesn't need, and taking care of what her requirements are for parole.
Was she not always taking care of what her requirements were for parole?
And learning how to live life on her own. And that's, if you add a relationship on top of that, that's a lot of pressure. Imagine you have never had any life experience. You never lived independently. You've never paid a bill. You've never paid rent. You've never driven a car. You've never had the freedom to go do whatever you want. And then you get out and you have that freedom, but then you're in a relationship and you have to consider what the other person needs and what the other person wants. And then they have expectations of you. You have expectations of them, but you don't have a framework or understanding of how to do it all.
Let's not forget, this is what she chose, and not holding it against her, but you live and you learn.
It's a lot and it's overwhelming. And she gravitates towards what's comfortable to her and people that are comfortable for her. And so unfortunately, she can sometimes gravitate towards unhealthy situations.
No shit, Sherlock.
And so her decision to leave is really just about one of growth. She needs to know who she is before she can be somebody else's wife, before she can be a mother.
Is it though, Katie Joy? Is it truly about growth? Is it truly about maybe she's not wanting to be his wife or wanting to bear his children? Because word on the streets and allegedly she is following her ex-kin again. So who knows?
It's hard to be there for someone else when you can't and you haven't been able to be there for yourself.
Gypsy was given advice through interviews that I've watched. Gypsy was advised, she was given guidance, but she chose to do what she wanted to do. So at the end of the day, Without a Crystal Ball does not need to give excuses with Gypsy Rose. Gypsy Rose can speak for herself. Without a crystal ball, all she is doing is try to validate herself, in my opinion.
I think it's just a case of she's not ready and it wasn't the right relationship for her.
And a lot of people have told her that. Without a crystal ball.
A lot of people are instantly going negative about him. I've seen comments saying, oh, he was so controlling, he was so this, he was so that. I
don't know what comments you are looking at, but from the comments that I've been seeing, I've seen it in the opposite direction, saying how controlling she is over him.
I will say that she's not going to speak, at least at this point, negatively about him. She has no desire to drag him. She has no desire to be cruel to him. She has no desire to make him look bad. She has no desire to ruin his reputation.
Only time will tell without a crystal ball, and obviously looks as though you're going to learn the same way we all do. and that is either through her private accounts or via social media. So I'm sure you get the idea of me saying that all she was doing is giving excuses for Gypsy Rose and her situation. When I saw this reporting of hers, I immediately got so angry. And the reason for my anger is, where was this energy when Cody and Janelle lost their son? From the get-go, when the news broke, she didn't even take the time to validate any information. Out of the gate, she started analyzing and trying to figure out, why did he do what he did? And blame Cody for contributing to his son's demise. She went a step further and blamed his own mother for not getting him the help he needed. And she was going back and forth with that. These parents lost their son, and she didn't have the human decency to show them an ounce of grace. Yet, a woman that did contribute to the demise of her mother, Without a Crystal Ball, is showing her so much grace and coming to her defense and giving her and her family, or wanting to give her and her family, respect, and claiming to not want to share details out of the respect for her and her family. Are you kidding me? Without a Crystal Ball has been dragging the Brown family since the day they lost their son and their brother, making fun of the father that lost his son at his own son's memorial, making fun of his hair, reporting on information and not even validating the information, which was totally false, making clickbait videos so she can profit off the tragedy of this family's loved one, giving people the impression that his mom abandoned the rest of her kids whilst they were still in mourning, judging family members for doing what they felt was best for themselves. She is so pressed that People magazine published something from a private account of Gypsy Rose. What about how she uses McKelty's content that is behind a paywall, speaking about how the stepmom had no business sitting in the front row? Janelle made a post that says, "It's been hard to get my brain to work properly again. I am so grateful for the outpouring of love and support I've received these last 3 weeks. The support has been overwhelming. I am honored. So many of you shared your stories of your loved ones. So many of you wrote of your thoughts and prayers. Thank you from the bottom of my heart." Garrison was honored by family members and by his National Guard unit last Saturday at a celebration of life ceremony. He would have loved it. I am sharing some of the photos. Many of you have already seen a lot of these online, often with snarky comments accompanying them. But this was a beautiful moment for us. Now, this is the same photo that Katie Joy used to continue to drag and disparage this family. Made a post. Janelle Brown breaks down, receiving flag for Garrison at funeral. My thing was, this is his memorial. This is such an honor. She lost her son. Of course she's gonna cry. This is the same photo. She used this photo to drag the looks of a father that just lost his son. And as you can see, his hair's hanging on by a thread. And she also says, "Who want to tell Cody it's time to shave the skullet?" This is again the same photo that she used where she says, "Film crews and family seen at Flagstaff Film House all last week." And that's a whole nother story. Yet, she has the gall to post saying that she will respect this family of a woman who is still alive, whose parents still have the privilege and pleasure to hug her, have special times with her, and the only thing that's going wrong in her life is that she's separating from her husband. Without a Crystal Ball, aka Katie Joy, chooses to respect their privacy. Where was this energy when the Browns lost their son? A son that they do not have the pleasure or privilege of ever hugging again or experiencing special occasion or special times with him. This is fucked up. And it speaks volumes on how biased she is and what a piece of shit she truly is. No matter how much you dislike anybody, or in Without a Crystal Ball's reporting, her dislike for Cody and this family, from them not wanting to interact Without a Crystal Ball or the way they choose to live their life or their beliefs they have, they deserved privacy and respect. And they did not deserve to be dragged by Without a Crystal Ball or judged by her at the most vulnerable time in their lives. Even though they are public figures, there's a time and a place for everything. At the end of the day, Cody, Janelle, and the entire Brown family will never have another minute with their son, their brother, their uncle. Yet, Rod and his family have all the time with his daughter Gypsy, and they get the respect and privacy from Without a Crystal Ball. This is just so sickening and maddening. But you guys, that's it from me. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. Have a fantastic upcoming week. Please be safe out there. Be kind to one another. And don't forget, make good memories. Bye, guys.